So what I'm hearing though is that you're really just trying to be that pressure to push to have a resolution. Because a lot of people are coming out and they're like, oh, you're trying to kill the party, you're trying to harm the party, you're trying to hurt the reputation. And yeah, so here we are at the Freedom Rally, and guess who I bump into? Mr. Peter Downing.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
And so Peter is the founder of Wexit, and you put out a very interesting post yesterday.
Yeah.
Care to comment?
So there was a letter from Dr. Dennis Mondry that was outlining, I guess, internal improprieties that had been going on internally within the Wildrose Independence Party. I myself, I brokered the deal to make the Wildrose Party happen, Independence Party happen, Wexit Alberta, and Freedom Conservative Party. And I've been quite intimately involved with the development, the overall development of the Wexit movement, the Alberta Separation, Western Independence, whether it be now Maverick, Wildrose Independence. So I'd always been in contact with the board, for lack of a better term, trying to move forward past the internal fighting that's been going on since basically June 29th, when the organization was founded. I got a little bit of background on me. I got my start in politics after I left the police, seeing all the internal nepotism and corruption in federal law enforcement with mounted police, also Government of Alberta law enforcement. In 2015, I started with Wildrose 1.0. I started in Mill Woods. That's where I lived. And I just volunteered in the 2015 general campaign, putting up, all I wanted to do was make phone calls, knock on doors, lawn signs, for the candidate to help them win. It happened to be a seat candidate from that community. And that's sort of where I got my start. I made a lot of connections with a lot of different multi-ethnic communities. My wife's from the Philippines. And I mean, we're all family first. Faith is a big part of our lives. Again, how our families are doing, jobs, small business, that's sort of my wheelhouse, and a bit of a blue collar wheelhouse. So when and it was obvious internally, when there was a lot of impropriety with the AGM and the voting, but most particularly with the Sikh community, and the Sikh community was actually literally disenfranchised for political purposes because they were seen to be upsetting the apple cart of the preferred slate of candidates. When that happened, despite all the nonsense that I'd been putting up with in that time from June 29th till that AGM, there was no way, shape, or form I could have anything to do or to associate with the organization or the party when there was actual literal racism. I'm the first person to talk out about fake left-wing, anti-Albertan, stuff, calling us racist. I'll always push back against that. But when I actually see real stuff, I'm going to deal with it in just the same way. So after that AGM result happened, I said I didn't want anything to do with the organization. From that time forward, moving forward, it was always a promise. So we'll fix it, we'll fix it, we'll fix it, we'll fix it. I have no interest in being the Lake of Fire 2.0 party. Dealing with the Lake of Fire 1.0 thing from the 2012 election. And now when you've got disenfranchisement of a top elder within the Sikh community and people actually literally asking him and pressuring him to step down and to not run in that election, and then for those people not to be able to vote, and that the investigations to those improprieties being shut down, and it's a sweep it under the rug, sweep it under the rug, sweep it under the mentality. So when that letter came to me, I basically said, and there was a real hero in the organization who flipped that over to me. Lots of heroes and people who basically had been suspended, their membership suspended for speaking out against this stuff. So when I got a hold of the letter, I said, guys, you've got till midnight tonight to dissolve the board and to hold a new election. And basically the president of the party called my bluff, which is always a bad decision because if I say something, I'm going to do it. And here we are. That's got released. Now, basically, you go on my Facebook, you can see that letter. Obviously, you reached out to me about that letter on Peter Downing AB on Facebook, or you can follow me on Twitter too, at Wexit Alberta. And basically, I've got the letter from the Sikh community where that top cleric, that top leader, has talked about all the discrimination. And he said when this happened to him, he said, what do you guys want to be, like the racist white party? Is that kind of what you're looking for? And again, with the name Wildrose, and it stands for our values, and we chose it for a reason, but it's very easy to get painted as the Lake of Fire 2.0 party. And so do we want to keep sweeping that under the rug? People who want to attack me, go ahead. I don't care. I was a cop and a soldier. Words don't hurt me. But we're going to deal with all of this stuff right now instead of 2 years from now. And to push the point, I flipped the letter to Press Progress, who are funded by the Tides Foundation and like to talk about racism all day long. So the Wildrose Party Independence Party of Alberta is going to deal with it one way or another. And I say for all the professionals out there, for folks like you, other people who got pushed out, and again, I've been seeing that and lamenting, and it's human nature. It's untalented people are threatened by talented people, and they push those people out, and we've seen it. I made this space to allow Jay Hill and Paul Hinman to step up and to lead these organizations. Albertans demanded that it would be somebody with, more credibility, so to speak, take to the next level. And it was an easy business decision for me to make to do that. But when I see what we all built be threatened by this kind of stupidity and nepotism and laziness and lack of talent and gerrymandering and protectionism, no. I'll be the guy, I flipped the letter. The next letter from that Sikh community is going to come out, again, by Friday. They've got till midnight Thursday night to get it done, or it's coming out on Friday at 9 a.m. They can deal with Press Progress. They can deal with the public. You think you can sweep it under the rug? Too bad. And it's going to be one way or another. The whole intent, my biggest intent in this entire endeavor is unity. One, separatist party to win government in 2023 and to get a referendum on separation, to get Alberta separate from the Confederation of Canada. I mean, it's killing us. They're suffocating our faces. They're shutting down our businesses. They're destroying families, suicides, everything else like that. There's no more giving chances to the rest of Canada. But if there's going to be people who are stepping in the way, I might even like them as friends, but I'm going to run them over because they're standing in the way of all of our public well-being. And that's what I've committed my career to. Police, military, and this is what I do in politics. We have to get it done.
So what I'm hearing, though, is that you're really just trying to be that pressure to push to have a resolution. Because a lot of people are coming out and they're like, oh, you're trying to kill the party, you're trying to harm the party, you're trying to hurt the reputation. And I think, by ignoring problems, I've never been one to ignore problems either. You have to deal with them. And if you're going to advertise yourself as the party of transparency, of the members from the bottom, grassroots up, then you need to be that. You have to live it. And so, but what I'm not hearing, the bitterness, of an individual who is going, I don't want this party to succeed. What I'm actually hearing is the opposite. You want the party to succeed. So, let's deal with the issues, the problems that we have today so that we can get moving forward on the solutions that need to be implemented and preparing for an election in 2023.
Yeah, 100% of that. I want the movement to succeed. I want Alberta to be separate from Canada. That's what I want. And at the end of the day, I didn't create something like this to watch it die and destroy. I had a choice. I could have, from the Wexus side, I could have appointed 12 or 15 Peter loyalists. And I didn't. I picked people based on their talent, based on their personal accomplishment, based on my perceived ability for them to move forward, and a complementary skill set of professional, and whether you're a firearms guy or whether you're a finance guy or a small business lady or whomever you are, so that we have that not even just a full representation of Alberta, but also the skill set at the table to make it happen. So my intent has always been to move forward, to further develop the organization, to build our relationship with our friends in the United States, because the reality is we do have to cut a deal with our friends in America to get support to be an independent nation. I just got back from Mar-a-Lago, from Trump's place, missed the president by 20 minutes. The pushing back and doing the things that sometimes other people can't politically do. I do those things because I really don't care about the rough stuff or the tough stuff. I want the organization to see that everything that's built up at the CAA level. I'm amazed with the work that's been done. But at the end of the day, and my intent was to help foster either a merger or the ability for the two organizations work together, again, to the end of one separatist party. Whatever paint job it has to be, I don't actually care. But when you've got problems of this magnitude, deal with it in 2021 or deal with it in 2023. And if the organization, if this board can't do the right thing now, and if the party can't do the right thing now, how the heck are they going to do the right thing when it comes to real money and millions and millions and billions of dollars, of public money and positioning an economy and whatnot? I mean, if we can't trust them to deal with what they've got now, how is and we're in the organization. We are on the same team. If we can't do this now, how's the rest of it? How are we going to reach out to the public servants in Edmonton? How are we going to reach out to, again, new Albertan communities, like, say, for instance, the Sikh community that's been marginalized already, like for petty politics? So I'm a big believer in meritocracy and competence, and if the right people aren't there, they got to be pushed out, and I'm willing to chop off heads to do it.
So you've also said that there's going to be a part 2 coming for your letter. So you mentioned Friday.
Yep. Yeah, it'll come out at Friday at 9 o'clock. So if people are angry at me, don't be angry at me. I'm just the messenger. Talk to your board, talk to your president, whatever they're saying, and it's just the results in the end of the day. And if if people are too naive and they believe or back the wrong horse in this, well, I guess they're going to have to deal with the consequences. We are a society. Alberta is a place of merit, and pick the right messenger, I guess.
So what's the solution? What's the fix for this?
Transparency, 100%, and I've just provided it because the board in this organization hasn't done it since February 23rd. Since the letter was a correction, even earlier, January when the AGM, February when this letter was written. So I'm creating the solution right now. Either you're going to fix the problem or the party's going to burn down. And the reality is, as everybody knows, I'm the public safety critic for the Independence Party of Alberta, and I'm running. And right now they've opened up their leadership race, and I'm seriously considering it in the process of contending for that. So one way or another, folks, either fix your own mess, or it's going to burn down. You're going to be the Lake of Fire 2.0 party, and I'm going to be in the party that isn't the Lake of Fire 2.0 party. So, motivation, kick in the ass.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation, and thank you for everything. And again, keep up the great work with everything you're doing for freedom, and loved your speech today.
Thank you very much. All right, everyone. That was Peter Downing from the Wexit Party, who actually merged with the Wildrose Independence Party. His comments and feelings on the post that was just sent out a couple of days ago.